guys? Got some Call of Duty Black Ops games again. Playing a bit of Domination on launch using the Commando, I believe, with the dual mags. And now I've got Nick inviting me to an Xbox Live party, but Nick, you're going to have to wait. And so yeah, I'm playing a bit of Domination on launch. And in this video, I'm not going to be talking about the game as much, but in this commentary I'm going to be talking about, like sounds in the game. And as part of an assignment for college, which is, and in college I'm doing games development, I've got to talk about sounds in games. So my tutors actually let me use my commentaries to talk about sounds in games to make my life easier. And I'm going to talk about sounds in this game. If you're interested in listening to the sounds and what they are and whatnot, continue watching. Or if you don't really fancy listening to me go on about sounds, you can just mute the video and watch the gameplay or whatever. But anyway, I'm gonna crack on with it. So I've got a few points I'm going to be mentioning, like mood and the ambience and stuff. So, to start off with the games, you notice you've got the music going off to start off with. Say, for example, you're on the Black Ops side, you'll have music, that's all based on Black Ops, has that music going off to make the game a little bit more interesting as soon as you start in. And what I've noticed is I've played the games back without that music going on. And it does not sound as really interesting. It does not make you into the game as much. And when you actually start Black Ops up on say whatever map it is, you start the game and you can just hear the music going off. It makes it a lot more interesting. Having that music there really does make it just so more interesting. And for me, when I come across that music, sometimes I'll literally just listen to it and I'll just go along with it, start going humming it or something, just randomly. Because if you play games enough, you'll start picking up all these things and whatnot, and it just makes the game so more interesting. But it's not just at the beginning of the games that this happens. I mean, take Search and Destroy for example. I've not got Search and Destroy gameplay on here, but in Search and Destroy, for those of you that play, you got the sounds coming on in the last minute or so. If it's gone on that long, to make the game a little bit more interesting. And when I hear that music, it kind of makes me move a bit more. Because if I'm being a bit defensive at one point, and then that music goes off, I start feeling like, wait, I'm gonna have to go Rambo here. The music just fits in really well. Excuse me. I find the music can actually change your gameplay at times as well. Because it reminds you of what's happening, So I do like the idea of having all this music in. And also you've got, the end game music, whether, if you win, it's more like, it's a winning music, victory music, what I'm talking about. And if you're obviously losing, you've got the losing music, and it just makes the game, it just seems so more interesting. I mean, I can't imagine any game, whether it's Call of Duty or any other game, without all this music in there, because it would just be so dull and boring. The music is really, it just makes the game more interesting. So we've talked a bit about music and stuff in the background and whatnot, but there's all the things you got to consider as well. You've got say guns and stuff. I mean, in Black Ops you've got your unsuppressed guns, you've got your suppressed weapons or silencers, and you've got your reloading as well. When you fire a normal gun that's not suppressed, you obviously appear up on the radar, you guys know that. But obviously the sounds of the gun are a lot louder as well. With the silencer, however, the sound is actually different. It's not the same sound. It's a little bit more suppressed. It's a lot quieter. Just so you can have that stealthy thing. I mean, I can't imagine a silencer, sounding the same as just a normal gun. It wouldn't really work. It wouldn't feel right at all. Having that silencer on there makes it just even more interesting. And what I also like about Black Ops, and you didn't really notice this in Modern Warfare 2, is when you reload your gun, everyone can hear you reloading it. And that's what I really like. So, for example, if I'm moving around somewhere and I can hear someone near me moving about, can't see them, they fired a shot, and then suddenly I hear them reloading, I can pinpoint roughly where they are. Because I've got a good surround sound. Having surround sound or a headset can actually help you in Call of Duty. A lot of people know that, a lot of people complain about that, but if you think about it, if you've got a headset, Turtle Beach or surround sound, it just shows you can afford that kind of stuff. And if anyone's just gonna moan about, you know, like you're doing this sound thing, whatever, sound whoring, I think it is, or something, you know, it's just a load of, it's just stupid. I mean, you can't just have a go at someone for having a piece of equipment that's really good, you know. They've bought it, so you can't really complain about it, you know. If you're that bothered about it, go buy it yourself. So, you know, I'm going on a little bit of rant here, and I'm meant to be doing an assignment, but I just wanted to get that out of my head. Also, what I like is some of the equipment, like the motion sensor, for example. You know, when you've placed down that motion sensor, obviously it's going to sense movement. But what I like about it is that even if you're next to it or you're near it, you can actually hear that motion sensor. So even if you're not running Hacker, which shows equipment, you know, you can hear that motion sensor. So you could actually get away with not having to use Hacker with the motion sensor. And I do believe the jammer actually gives off some sounds as well. So, you know, it makes the game even more interesting. You know, those small little sounds, you know, make the game 10 times better. I mean, at some point in this game, I'll be in a chopper gunner, because I've gone through the game. I'm not actually watching the game at the moment. I can tell there's a chopper gunner because I've seen the game. And, you know, just imagine going in that chopper gunner and not hearing the chopper going off. You know, you don't hear you don't hear it flying. You don't hear, you know, all the background stuff in the chopper. All you're hearing is just, you know, let's say the minigun going off, whatever. Yeah, I don't know what the gun's called. I'm just gonna call it the minigun. You know, if you just hear that, you know. Don't get me wrong, it's a great kill streak, but what makes it even better is that there's just sounds, you know, they make it seem like so much more interesting. And it's the same for all these other kill streaks. I mean, the dogs, for example, you know, they run out, you know, say from the example in the enemy team, and there's no dog sounds, and the enemies release dogs, you know, you can't tell if the dogs are there. And if I hear dogs in the enemy team, I'm going to get to like a higher position, so they can't literally just jump up and kill me. And, you know, so, you know, the sounds are really helpful, actually. So, you know, the sounds are really important, even whether it's kill streaks or grenades and stuff. Or even the rocket on launch. I mean, you were just watching a game on launch. I don't know whether it's finished or not. I'll probably have to throw in another gameplay to keep keep some games going, keep this commentary going. But on launch, you've got that rocket that goes off halfway through the game. I mean, that rocket is really loud. But that's what the rocket would be. I mean, you can't just like have a rocket going off with no sound. Just, you know, it wouldn't feel right. You know, the rocket. I mean, yeah, the rocket can be annoying because, you know, it shakes the whole ground and stuff. But the sounds of it are actually really good. And, you know, I like how, you know, Treyarch have incorporated that into the game. I mean, for me, when I came across the rocket first, I thought, wow, this is actually amazing. You know, it was really interesting, and I still find it interesting, even though, you know, it's a pain trying to avoid it if you're near it, but at the same time, it's really good. So, you know, we've talked a little bit about, you know, the background music and the object sounds, but this is one thing, and I mentioned about a minute ago, or a while ago, about, you know, this people using, like, all this, you know, like, sound equipment and stuff, like headsets and surround sound so they can hear better. And a lot of people find this useful where you can hear the enemies running. So if you're running over, say for example, you know, like dirt or mud or grass, you know, it will give off that sound. And that's what I like about Call of Duty. I mean, take, like, say some of these wooden bridges on Jungle. If you guys have played Jungle, you know, when you run across that wooden bridge, you can you know, you can actually hear the person running across that bridge. And some of you might think, well, does that really matter? Well, yeah, it really does. I mean, for me, if I was just running across, I mean, take Ninja for example, right? If you run Ninja and you start running around the map, it feels just so much different. I mean, it's really helpful having Ninja on against those people using, like, you know, surround sound and stuff like that, because you can't be heard with your footsteps and whatnot. But for me, even just running around with Ninja myself, it doesn't feel like I'm actually moving properly. It's really hard to explain. I don't feel like I'm actually moving on the surface. It's just me just running around pretty much. So for me, I really do like how the sound has been, you know, designed in Call of Duty. I mean, it's the same in other games as well, but because obviously Call of Duty is the most played game, you know, a lot of people notice these things. Also another thing about, like, this is coming under activity sounds, like, this dive into prone that they've, or the dolphin dive they've introduced into Black Ops. You can hear someone that dives into prone. You'll hear them land into prone, you'll hear them dive, you'll hear, like, the voice of it, I can't remember what the voice was, but you can actually hear them, jump into prone. Small little sounds like that. Jumping over objects, you hear the person jump over them, example on launch, when you drop down onto the B flag, I remember doing it in that game. You'll probably see me, it's probably gone past now, but you can actually hear the person jump over, say, a barrier or something, or hop over a barrier, and those kind of things actually help as well. I mean, I have surround sound on, and if I'm playing a game or something, and I hear someone, I can tell exactly where they are, because obviously I've got surround sound, but, even if the person's got ninja on, you can actually hear them hop over objects, and I can pinpoint where someone is just by that. So those sounds are actually really helpful. Another thing that I like also is the ambient sounds, and what I like is that because there's different maps, there's different sounds. I mean, take Kowloon, which is one of my previous commentaries that I uploaded probably about 3 weeks ago, maybe. You can actually hear, like the rain coming down, you'll hear the storms in the background, you can hear all this stuff going on, and it makes the game even more interesting. I mean, if you run into, say, a building on Kowloon, you've got, like, some radios going off as well, playing a bit of music. Obviously it's based, I think it's in China, so it's more Chinese music, but it makes it feel more interesting. It makes me feel more into the actual map itself. I mean, obviously you've got, like, all the rain coming down and stuff, and after a while you get used to hearing the rain. But when I came first into Kowloon, it just felt really awesome, just like coming into that map and knowing, oh right, it's like a rainy environment. There's storms going off and whatnot. I feel like I'm actually up high, because obviously Kowloon is based on rooftops, similar to High-Rise in Modern Warfare 2. But that's how it works. Another thing, you've got, say, for example, Summit. It's a snow-based map. It's windy. You can hear the snow falling down. You're high up. It feels more. It feels, it makes you more into the game. I mean, for me, sounds, are really key for me. If the sounds are off, I actually, it's not really, very interesting for me. Obviously, you just watch that launch game, and you can see. You can't see, obviously, because it's sound, but you hear. I don't know why I said that just then. You can hear, like, before the rocket goes off, you can hear, all this, like, I can't remember, like, warning signs going off, and, that itself makes it more interesting, so when the rocket's going to take off, because the warning sounds get louder, they get more constant, so when the rocket's going to take off, and that's something I really like. And another thing I want to talk about, is the voices in, the games. Say, for example, at the beginning of the game, you're playing Domination. You've got into the game, you select your class and whatnot. It's countdown, the match has begun. And then, depending on which side you're on, say, for example, you're on the Black Ops side, you'll have, like, the main voiceover of the Black Ops side saying, like, capture the objectives, because it's Domination based. And during the game as well, when you come across, say, someone taking your flag or something, it will come up saying, losing B, for example, or losing C or A, because obviously there's only 3 points. And if the enemy team starts taking that flag, it will tell you that. So, that in itself can be helpful. Kill streaks, for example, if they put up a spy plane, it will say enemy spy plane in the air, or counter spy plane, or Blackbird in the air. All those things are really helpful. Also, what I find helpful in this game, and a lot of people aren't used to this, I don't see anyway, but sometimes your player or another player will say changing mag, obviously because they're reloading, or they'll shout grenade, so there's been a grenade thrown your way or near your area, or you can actually hear someone actually saying I'm reloading, so you might want to cover them or something. But also, like, is if another player on the other team starts firing at you, it will say at times as well, contact, enemy contact, so someone's actually fired at you. I mean, not if people just think, well, it's probably someone else, but it's actually, if it says contact, it means, someone's just tried to fire at you. so you know that someone's there, and that's what I really like. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching. It's quite a long commentary. It's going on to almost 15 minutes. But hopefully you guys, have realised, like, certain sounds are in the games and stuff like that. Also, because this is assignment based, I'm not going to put a length on it either. But, so if you're interested, in any sounds or anything I've missed, please just let me know. Leave in the comments what you think about, sounds in games. What games do you find that have really good sounds? I mean, for me, Call of Duty has obviously progressed since, previous ones. I mean, I know the World at War one was like, the sounds weren't exactly on. And they have improved since then, and they still are improving. So let me know what your view is on like sounds in games. It'd be really interesting to know. But yeah, thanks guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.